This might blow people's minds, but it's different. Aging is really matters by the a way we can measure our biological aging process, which is different. So biological aging, therefore, is how our body is aging as opposed to chronological aging, which is how the calendar tells us we're old.
Well, I think sometimes once we pass those life checkpoints, if you will, things can come with a little bit of baggage. There can be a lot of grief. There can be things that we're holding on from the past. And then when we age, oftentimes we aren't quite as satisfied with how we look or how we feel.
I don't know how many of you have ever seen the old classic Christmas story, It's a Wonderful Life, right? But in that movie, there was a run on the banks, right? And it's like, oh my word, nobody had any cash. Well, this actually is happening in real life, and it won't be a wonderful life, right?
Excited to talk to you this time about biohacking, bioharmonizing, bioenergizing, and people need to know the difference between true chronological aging and hacking this thing called biological age. What's the difference?
I like how you put that. So a good way to understand this is simply this. We tell our chronological age with our birthday, which is driven by a calendar and the time, the watch, but that is not true aging. This might blow people's minds, but it's different. Aging is really matters by the a way we can measure our biological aging process, which is different. So biological aging, therefore, is how our body is aging as opposed to chronological aging, which is how the calendar tells us we're old.
Well, and we know that there are at least 4 things that we have complete control over. That's nutrition. What's at the end of your fork? That's the biggest, most highly contributing factor to your long-term health. It's 85% of long-term outcome. Then there's that thing called sleep. We've got to get enough sleep so that our system is not overly exhausted and burning the candle at both ends. We've got to exercise. We know that sitting is the new smoking, and if we don't exercise and don't move, boy, that sets the system up for this thing called toxicity or toxic milieu, if you want. And then last but not least is stress management. If we live a life stressed out, that's a good way to decrease that biological age.
Well, it is. And a lot of people don't think
Actually,
about
it's going to increase biological
It's going
age.
to increase biological age. There's a lot of people. I use the 20-year high school reunion story. And for those of you who are like, hey, wait a minute, I remember going to that. Okay, you had this thing happen. You had this idea, this epiphany moment. You looked at your partner, your wife or husband and said, my gosh, they look old.
What happened?
What happened to them? And you probably made the comment, they must have had a hard life. But then you looked at the same group of people and you saw a few that said, that you observed, you said, hey, they look really good. They haven't changed a bit. They look the same age mostly as they did back when they were a senior in high school. That's the biological aging process, and it's different. And yeah, some people have had some circumstances that make life harder. But the bottom line is we should begin to take charge of and make better decisions towards the 4 areas you talked about, sleep, stress management, movement, and exercise. That helps us a lot. And a lot of people are out there right now using various supplements and various little hacks, if you will, to sort of speed up or maybe prevent the aging process or perhaps slow it down.
Well, we have a few biohacks that we just really love. One of them is this thing called molecular hydrogen water. How does that work?
Okay, so everybody out there has heard the term free radicals. So free radicals could be looked at maybe like aging products, like you got the body ages, it's like going through life, moving around, breathing, sleeping, talking, exercising. In the process of creating energy to make all that happen, there is waste products. Think about a refinery that's going to have waste products. So free radicals then are built up waste products. And the body has the ability to sort of handle them, clean them up, if you will. But sometimes our body loses the ability and the free radicals can build up faster. And therefore, they become cellular damaging molecules. Okay, so hydrogen being the smallest element on the periodic table, number one, it's the smallest thing. It can be consumed by water. So we've got these little machines that we put hydrogen in water, and we drink the water, which carries the hydrogen. The hydrogen comes in and chops those free radicals in half that are excessive, turns them back into water, thereby minimizing the buildup and perhaps slowing down the biological aging process.
So that's cool. With hydrogen water specifically, molecular hydrogen, we can turn this free hydroxyl radical, which does absolutely no good for the system except cause oxidative stress or rusting. We can turn it into water, and the body is 65% water anyway. So that's a win. Where do people find this hydrogen machine?
Look, they can reach out to us, and obviously we have little portable machines. We have access to
I love that.
big
It goes with
machines.
us. We travel with it.
We do. And, that's just one thing we do to biohack the system. And, there's many other things we do. A lot of times people want to be able to inject things. We inject things like NAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. That's a cool term, right? Can't memorize that.
Which is in the electron transport change of the mitochondria,
That's right.
which make energy for you.
So we're trying to figure out different ways to do that. And there are tests that people can do as well in our clinic that measure this process. They're known as True Age, except it doesn't have the E, TRUAGE, and then we've got Glycan Age, GLYCAN Age. Both of those are kind of different metrics of age clocks that we can do, and they're pretty accurate. It shows kind of how your system is aging, the pace, the actuality. It gives you a chronological, age, and then it sort of gives you a biological age estimate as well. How well your system's aging, and perhaps, how well your immune system's performing. So your immune age, for example, is in the 20s. Go figure.
It is in the 20s. And people can also run their genetics. I find that one of the coolest tests that we have, because you see what those oxidative stress pathways actually, what we're born with. So somebody who's got oxidative stress stacked against them, that biohack hydrogen water is a good way to go. Plus then following it with the test. So the genes are the loaded gun, the environment pulls the trigger, and we can see how we're doing by testing.
Well, there's no question. And we just kind of take some action on that. I mean, the bottom line is we're not stuck in the idea of aging. In other words, age is just a number. I think of Caleb in the Bible, he's 85 and saying, I'm just as spry as I was 40 years ago. You can look that up. It's in the book of Joshua, by the way. But the bottom line is you don't have to age like the calendar says. You can age a little bit better than the calendar says, and that's called biological aging. And to get that to do the way you want it to go, biohacking is the way. And we're working on it every day. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, give us a call. Love to help you.
How do we find love even past the age of 65? We want to live and love well.
We can. You're never too old to learn to love.
I could use your assistance.
Okay,
Jesus. Huh? My name is Jesus.
Sure. Jesus.
Jesus is here today.
You looking for a job?
Yes, sir.
You and Mark have 45 days before the bank forecloses.
Not to worry. They do not call me by God Byron for nothing. The collection plate starts to be passed around. Mark reaches into the basket and shouts, "You and your family are the winner from the First Church of the Lotto." Kind of think of it like a high-stakes bingo night every Sunday.
Poopy diaper!
Poopy diaper!
This video of the diaper is going viral right before our eyes.
This is a miracle.
What is?
Friends of Faith has over 300,000 followers.
Oh my dad! That's more followers than Moses had.
Jesus! Take the wheel! No, stop, take the wheel!
I got it, buddy.
And when you navigate through these economies with people, here's what happens. We want to hold their hand through it, let them know when it's time to buy, sell, reallocate, get out of Dodge. Because a lot of times when you're struck with fear does two things. Number one, it can paralyze, and people just put their head in the sand and say, I'm just going to forget about it and hopefully it gets better. Or it causes you to make a wrong decision. And this is why we are here is to help people navigate through the political quagmire nonsense that's going on, the economic malaise, and the absolute collapse that we're seeing. And when our freedoms are eroding, our political freedoms, our economic freedoms, our personal freedoms, our religious freedoms, our health freedoms, they're all tied together. But you know what doesn't need to erode with that? Our finances.
KirkElliottPhD.com/Sherwood.
Let's shine the spotlight on one of our star supplements.
The human body can make most of the types of fats it needs from other fats or raw materials, but not omega-3 fatty acids, also called omega-3 fats or N3 fats.
These are essential fats that the body must get from food.
Bioomega 1000 provides a potent dose of omega-3 essential fatty acids sourced from a strategically placed fishing facility in the far South Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile.
Each capsule delivers an impressive 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA, and the capsules also contain vitamin E. See the link below for a special offer, and remember, don't be fooled by cheap online knockoffs. You know, when the clock ticks 50 years of age, that's one thing. But when the clock ticks 60, that's an even bigger thing. So when we're trying to maybe find a new relationship at that age, is that really possible?
Well, yes. You know, interestingly enough, when you started talking about those ages, I started thinking about, well, whoa, what age am I? But ultimately, the idea about finding love and being loved and giving love there's no age with that. I mean, whether you're 70 or 17, I suppose you can find, receive, and give that love you're talking about.
Well, I think sometimes once we pass those life checkpoints, if you will, things can come with a little bit of baggage. There can be a lot of grief. There can be things that we're holding on from the past. And then when we age, oftentimes we aren't as satisfied with how we look or how we feel. So we might be a little bit intimidated, a little less confident, yet unless we step our foot out there, we're not going to find love unless we go looking for it.
It's funny, like I was thinking with age, you know, there's two things that happen, right? Hopefully they happen anyway. Number one, you gain a little bit of wisdom and experience. That's a good thing. But number two, I guarantee this happens. The longer you live, the more baggage you have. And what is baggage, right? I think that the best advice I've given people, because we've had that a lot happen. People will come into our clinic, you know, and they'll be trying to refine their health a little bit, and they'll find love. Sometimes they find in the clinic. We've actually married a couple people, and so they'll ask questions. You end up putting like your clinician hat on one day and your counselor hat on the other. But a lot of times I've told them to not be afraid of their baggage, but to take their bag of baggage, give that to the person they're considering spending their life with, and allowing that person to sort through at their speed, at their leisure, and the time they want to sort through that baggage. Because it's okay. Because the more you live, the more you learn, and the more you go through. Some of it's not worth, some of it's terrible because you go through pain. Some of it you make dumb mistakes, dumb decisions. But sometimes you learn some good things. And in that baggage, it's not all bad. There's experience there. And people can find some blessing in that, you know. And so all that said, baggage can yield pain, but baggage can also yield wisdom. And as you age, that can become a great blessing and a great gift to give somebody else as well.
Well, and one of the things that we do when we talk to somebody about their genetics is we have them read what's called positive word speak. And in order to really get out there in the dating world, maybe 50, 60, 65 plus, you need to be confident with yourself. So speaking positively about yourself in the mirror to yourself every day, like, I am a woman or man of great integrity, of great confidence. I love my life. I set healthy boundaries. I walk confidently through this life. You start thinking that way, then you're more likely to put yourself into certain circumstances, like maybe going out to a bowling alley for fun, or maybe going to the fair, maybe putting yourself in certain social situations that you normally wouldn't do. So that's called a little bit of risk taking, but you have to be confident in your skin first.
Well, you do. And just because you have an age attached to you based upon chronology or your calendar or your watch, who cares? Age is just a number, but love has no number attached to it, does it? So as long as you have breath, you know, I look at it like this. As long as you have breath, you have an idea of being able to give to the world something. And you, sir, ma'am, have the ability to give no matter how you are. So if you're out there and you're single and you're getting a little bit of age on your frame and life, who cares? I simply say this to you. Just embrace that and realize there's probably somebody out there that would appreciate what you have to give, and somebody out there that's looking for that person as well. So, you know, seek it out, and I think go for it.
Well, and I remember I didn't meet you, the love of my life, until after about 48 years. And one of the things that I did that was very, very powerful is I sat down and I made a list of all of the character traits that I wanted to have in a mate. And sometimes the things of the past, we learn from those relationships from the things of the past, the things that we don't want in a new relationship. So defining the things that you absolutely want in a relationship and clarifying them on paper can help you find the right person at the right time.
I guess I passed. You know, she made the list. Hey, don't forget to watch the movie The Prayer List. You can find that out there everywhere. That's actually the story that's made into a real life movie of our story. And we talk about the prayer list, the list you made with prayer of the kind of person you wanted to have in your life. And, you know, I guess a couple of days after you made the list, I guess I walked in the door, right?
You did walk in the door, and it was very,
yes.
Yeah, and it's been a success ever since. Had I not made that list, I mean, I was grieving and wanting and needing a partner, somebody by my side. And I had a friend say to me, you know, what do you want in a partner? If you don't know, how are you ever going to find the right person? So that clarification of what you're looking for and what you want to have in your life that's going to complement you to create an interdependent relationship or an independent relationship is very important.
Yeah, and maybe as you age out there, you learned what you don't want as much as what you do want. So that makes your list that you might make a little more viable and believable. So, you know, all that said, you know, there is love to be found later in life. I don't believe that God made people to be on this earth to be all alone. He did say it is not good for a man or a woman to be alone. So, hey, if you're older, who cares? Just go out there and seek a little love, and you never know what you might find. Up next, our financial guru, Kirk Elliott, gives us advice on what you need to know at this time in history.
Hey friends, you already know the answer to this, but we'll ask you anyway. If you stay away from your favorite junk food for a month and then go back to supersizing it, will your health improve?
Well, that's the thing about change. To change, we have to be as consistent as possible.
And when we go back to an old habit, it's not the end of the world. We just get back at the new habit.
Before you know it, real transformation is evident to you and others.
That's why we offer a bunch of helpful bonuses when you subscribe to Kingdom Fuel.
Kingdom Fuel is our complete nutritional meal shake.
It's the simple start to a transformed life, and we'll auto ship every month so you don't run out.
You'll receive 2 free shaker cups, free access to our video courses, and a monthly call with us filled with practical inspiration.
Just see the link below or on your screen and subscribe today.
Hey there, Kevin Sorbo here. Now, deep down, we know this. We're more than just a brain and a body. We're a spirit, we're a soul, and we're also a physical temple. If you hit the wall when you're trying to improve one aspect of your being, it's probably because, well, other aspects are sabotaging our success. So that's why diets don't work. And frankly, why so much conventional wisdom from our so-called medical establishments falls flat. Doctors Michele and Mark Sherwood have a very different approach. I should know because I happen to be one of their patients. They address the whole person to get to know you, your challenges, and more importantly, what your goals are. Then they offer a complete plan that addresses your unique biology and your heart. They'll help you discover what you need to experience transformation. So find out more at sherwood.tv/sorbo. That's sherwood.tv/sorbo, or see the link before. Now I'm heading for a workout. You should be going for a workout too. All right, guys. God bless.
Hey everybody, Dr. Kirk Elliott here, and thanks, Mark, for having me on. Interesting topic today because it's a scary topic for everybody that has funds in the bank, right? So I don't know how many of you have ever seen the old classic Christmas story, It's a Wonderful Life, right? But in that movie, there was a run on the banks, right? And it's like, oh my word, nobody had any cash. Well, this actually is happening in real life, and it won't be a wonderful life, right? So the FDIC, the Federal Depository Insurance Corp, right? When you have a bank account, a checking account, savings account, your bank accounts are what? They're insured up to $250,000, right? So we all feel safe, right? We all feel safe that our bank accounts should be safe, right? They're not tied to the stock market. They're not tied to the bond market, or are they, right? Because what does the bank do with your funds? They lend it out, right? So they used to be that every $100 you would deposit, they would keep $10 back and they would loan out $90, right? So it was a 10% reserve requirement. Well, during COVID, all banks in America from the Federal Reserve said reserve requirement is 0. So they don't have to keep any money on hand at all, 0, right? Oh my word, they could be ripe for a bank run, right? So they also did one other thing. This happened last year. Also what happened last year was the Fed took $2.5 trillion of liquidity out of the banking system via a mechanism called a reverse repo mechanism, which just means they gave all banks these worthless US treasuries and stripped cash out. So they took out $2.5 trillion. They made a 0% reserve requirement, meaning banks don't have anything on hand. So their liquidity is like minimal. But then in November of 2022, a meeting was held at the FDIC, and this video just came out end of the first week in January. It was a video of their meeting. It wasn't intended for public consumption because these FDIC officials were talking, and what were they saying? We can't let the public know about this at all. Now, the bankers, they need to know what's happening in the markets and the impending collapse. And see, Mark, words have meaning, right? So impending collapse. They weren't talking about a collapse that might happen somewhere down the road. An impending collapse of the markets, and the public can't know about what they're talking about in this meeting because that would have come with unintended consequences. It's like, what in the world were they talking about? So what they're talking about is the FDIC is running out of money. So we all think we have $250,000 insurance coverage. We don't, because there's $9 trillion of our money in the banking system. $9 trillion, okay? They have 125 billion covering 9 trillion. That's 1.388%. So the FDIC only has 1.388% of all of our deposits covered. No wonder the FDIC officials, when they didn't know they were being recorded, said, we can't let the public know about this because it would come with unintended consequences, which would be what? A run on the banks. And how much money do banks have? 0% reserve requirement. And they stripped $2.5 trillion out. So this is where, what do we do? I mean, seriously, what do we do when our banks aren't even safe? And you and I have spoken in the past, Mark, about stock market collapse, bond market collapse. And a lot of times people just put their money in the banks when they want it safe and they just want to sit on the sideline. That's not even a good option now, right? With the banking system in complete shambles, no liquidity, and now FDIC, the insurance coverage is so underfunded, they only cover 1.388%. So what do? What you and I have been talking about for months now. Go into tangible assets like gold and silver. It's your safe haven. It's the flight for quality that we all need in times like this, because here's the growth that we've seen. Asset protection, first and foremost. We need to protect everything we've worked so hard to accumulate. Silver and gold are the safest assets in the planet because they're things, and things go up with inflation. But over the last 13 weeks, silver's up almost 40%. It was, let's see, 3 months ago, so, 12, 13 weeks, it was $17.97 an ounce. Today, it's well over 24. It's up almost 40%. But 12 weeks doesn't make a trend. So let's look back further. 2.5 years. Silver was $11.91 an ounce in March of 2020. Now it's up to over 24. That's up 98% in 2.5 years, averaging 38% year growth. That is amazing. In a time like this, when we're all concerned about stock markets collapsing, bond markets collapsing, we're losing equity in our houses, we can have a smile on our face like I always do because we can have something good. There's hope and there's light at the end of this tunnel. If you do the right thing, reallocate into silver or gold, tangible silver or gold, and we can help you with that.
I know you are God. I can't believe I trusted you.
I'm Michelle. I'd love to work here.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion?
Yes, Master, I do.
We need to get you more competition. Nationals?
And finally, the Olympic team selection tournament.
Did somebody try to hurt you again?
Yes. But I don't think anyone will ever believe me.
She's working on being a homeless Olympic champion, and now she has somebody footing the bill for college so she can become a doctor.
We have to pray on the list so that in all of God's glory, each item on the list will come to a fruitful and gratifying beginning.
Exploring biohacking, bioharmonizing, biosynergizing, stacking, resilience, or anti-fragility?
Start here. No gimmicks, just proven results.